From what I've heard of anecdotally, the main constraint seems to be around some types of apartment buildings which the banks regard as really quite risky to lend against. Otherwise, we haven't seen any broader sign of credit constraint. But of course, we're always on the lookout for what may or may not get in the way of supply. The current initiative, one of many, is the $1 billion Housing Infrastructure Fund, because we can have some control with the councils over the infrastructure required for more housing. And so right now there's a pretty gritty discussion going on with the councils because they've talked for quite some time about how infrastructure financing is a constraint, and now we want to see them produce the projects where it is a constraint, where they can bring supply forward. And I think that's going to be a bit of a challenge for all of us.
Is there any discussion of changing the nature of that fund? My understanding is that because it's kind of debt on the government balance sheets, there's reluctance to take it up.
Oh, there's a lot of discussion over the sort of financial structuring, but that can be resolved. The real challenge is whether councils actually do have projects waiting for infrastructure funding. The initial indications are that they don't, but I think everyone's sharpening their pencils now because there's still $1 billion sitting on the table, and the government's been pretty clear with them. It's not just a sort of subsidiary financing mechanism for their general plan. It is specifically for bringing forward housing supply by overcoming the constraints they said they had. So really we're just testing them against the claims that were made about their financing constraints and finding that a very constructive discussion. I think we'll learn a lot more about what the constraints are, and they're going to learn more about how to get things happening faster.